Oh my gosh. Hold on, y'all.
Should we look at the camera when it starts?
I forget it's there.
Yeah, you can look at the camera.
If that wasn't on, what was recording us?
A program called OBX on the computer.
It's all just AI generated.
You guys aren't really here. You're just the
Okay.
you're just the imaginative figures of a robot, really.
Brian on the other side of the table. If I don't look good,
You look great.
we're not airing this, right?
You look amazing.
Okay, so
Preetha's coming after
not,
you.
Yeah.
No. You look
We'll just,
amazing. I promise. You look amazing.
If
Yeah.
I don't look good, Brian.
In fact,
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
hoping maybe you and I can have a blind date after this.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, we'll go listen to some talking heads.
Okay. Everything's rolling. I'm going to start recording. You ready?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Jesus. That was not the way it was supposed to go. Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Brought to you live from Silicon Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks.
Let's light this candle. Yes. They are in top form. And Brian, you are in top form. Good to see you.
It took so long to get the show started today, and so many little misfires, and
But
so
the
many
energy is in the building, let me tell you.
and a lot of speculation about what was going to happen this morning, or this, and I know Simon says, and Preetha said, and these are our guests. Like, how did we get here?
I love it. And Ray was supposed to join us today. His flight was Ray, the co-founder and CEO at SF Step. He was supposed to be here today, so
Yeah.
he's going to be rescheduled. But we're going to miss you, buddy. Get to Silicon Valley safe in the next few days. But with that being said, I want to welcome to everybody to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of the show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact within your own. All right. Now it goes off the rails, Brian, because it has been off the rails since we walked in the building today. But
It seriously has. Like, everything it seems disjointed.
But I think it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely going to have fun.
If I ever do a TED Talk, it's going to be the art of messy.
Oh, good.
And that is where the magic happens, is in the messy, the creative, the ad lib. And let me tell you, I think we're going to have that today. But Brian, before we get into it, I want to share a few things.
Yeah, great. What do you got? I'm interested to hear what you have to share.
So I just got an email today, and two things. We just became a silver partner for TechCrunch, which is coming up in October.
Wow.
Yeah.
Silver
Congrats.
partner.
We are a silver level. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I was going to ask. That's my next question. Like, well, what does
When you
silver
get
partner
there,
mean?
it's the one where you look on the big, you look the big board as you walk in, and you got all those marquees, and then you look way at the bottom with the magnifying glass. You might see Silicon
There
Valley.
must be something lower than silver.
It's in the fine print, like
Bronze.
next to the
there must
trademark.
be bronze, copper, lead.
I'm super excited. I'm super proud about it, though.
Well, you mean Silicon Valley Venture, is that right?
No, Silicon Valley Impact.
Silicon Valley Impact. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't realize it was us. I thought it was
it is
you,
us.
and of which I am an extension. But this
Yeah.
is us.
Yeah, and
Wow,
so what
Jesus,
that means,
I underestimated us.
the power of the impact. But what that means is those of you who are listening and you see our post, you go to youtube.com and check out our...
Yes, keep going.
Check out our channel. You can find a link.
YouTube.com, search Silicon Valley Impact.
You can find
and when
a
you
link.
get there,
You
I
find the
want
link.
you to hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
It is very important that you hit that subscribe button, right?
And, yep.
That's what we need you to do.
And then look for the link, because you can get 25% off your tickets to TechCrunch. Yeah.
No!
Yes.
Wow.
Have to use
Silicon Valley Impact is delivering like crazy this morning.
And TechCrunch is happening in November.
October 27th to the 29th, I believe. But nonetheless, it's a week of amazing activities at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. But we'll have that up on our sites and in our posts. And you can take advantage of that 25% discount. you wouldn't believe what I had to go through, the ringer I had to go through to get that 25%. So take advantage of it. Yeah.
Right. So people should take advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are also going to be doing the Spotlight event at Opal in Napa in October as well. So we'll have more information on that. And we just developed a big partner with the Agentic, and we're super excited about those who are building. If you're looking to build your MVP, the Agentic can take care of you without you having to raise your fund. They will build it for you. They have a unique business model. We'll have more about that coming up in the months to come.
Great.
Yeah, it's exciting. A lot of stuff going on. Okay, but this
And
is
I don't know why I need to point this out, but we all commented it's raining here in early September in California.
Very strange.
full moon last night,
Only
rain this morning.
Los
Full moon,
Gatos.
yeah.
Only
Only
Oh,
Los
only in Los Gatos.
Gatos. Let's be clear about this.
Wow.
I'll take it.
All right. We're
Rain is a
special.
blessing here.
And a big
Yeah.
shout out to Stack Ventures. Had a great event with Startup Grind Oakland. Kicked off the Summer Bash, and the VC season is now in full swing, I would say. And we have two great VCs in the house today. Is there such thing, Simon, as a VC season?
Yes, there is.
I know it shuts down during the
absolutely.
summer. Yeah.
I do the opposite though. I get active when everyone else is on vacation. But
That's why you're here, because
I
you're the
agree.
genius thinking
Yeah.
outside the box. All right. So before we go any further, let's get to our guests. I definitely want to introduce you to these two rock stars. I'm so excited to have them both in the studio today. Preetha, good to see you.
Hi there, Brian.
Yeah. Simon, good to see you, buddy. In the tradition of Silicon Valley Impact, I didn't prepare for this. And it was funny when you walked in, Preetha, you said, why are we here?
I think that's an existential question we should all ask ourselves every now and then.
Yeah.
And so I asked you that. Why are we here?
You went deep right away. Like, why are we here?
It's true.
So give a little intro.
Oh, brother. Never mind.
It's
I'm
coming.
making noise. It's not supposed to be there.
It's coming.
I absolutely insist we hear the rest of that music clip.
It's going to be, I want to,
go to. And you may ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? And you may
Yes.
say to yourself, my God,
Everybody.
what have I done?
okay,
Why
great.
did I get
I
you?
nailed it.
How did I get you? Thank you. Thank you. For
All right, Preetha.
You're welcome.
Introduce yourself to our audience who is in over 26 countries out there. When I say that, I really mean just my mom is listening, so go ahead.
His mom is always moving around in 26 different countries.
That's great. Hello, 26 countries. I'm Preetha Ram. I am a managing partner at Pier 70 Ventures. And if you think my journey to VC was straightforward, a straight line, that is absolutely not right. And if you think that VC is sitting around in a boardroom, drinking latte, or, well, we're in the Valley, so maybe it's
matcha.
I was thinking wine, Brian. Wine,
like
perhaps,
wine too.
Silicon Valley, Napa. It really wasn't. So I think it was, for me, it was more like not a straight line, but a roller coaster. I was the CEO, founder of a startup called OpenStudy. And it was that, taking it, as you recognize, from a single idea to a platform with over 60 million learners in 26. Oh, actually, we thought it was more than 26 countries. And then one day you get a shout out from CNN. We're on CNN, and then we get a shout out from the White House. And it's kind of, to me, I thought, it's like getting a gold star from your high school principal, except I think it's way cooler. I don't know how your high school was. Yeah. And then, of course, I was the assistant dean for science at Emory. We can talk a little more about that. Sort of really grappling with these large issues of research and the future of research. And then one day, we'll talk about how I got to be actually at VC. But now, I'm looking at and realizing that taking big ideas from the lab to a boardroom is a lot more. And if you're creating, that's what I'm all about, creating the future of health, it can be done in a lab coat. You've really got to walk out of it, handle this creation of a startup, of innovation with some audacity, but a whole lot of grit.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, Simon, give a little
100%.
intro and pile in on that. What you've been working on, and go ahead and let it rip.
100% agree with Preetha on the real world experiences being required for successful founders and startups. My background is also like very, very convoluted to venture. I don't think I even knew what a limited partner was 4 years ago. And we're about to close on our $25 million fund one or 1.5. I was an engineer, worked at Apple for many years, worked alongside some great people like Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive. I was always kind of the generalist expert, sent on wild goose chases and missions around the world to figure out how to create a shiny chamfer or a unibody MacBook enclosure, whatever. My background's mechanical and manufacturing engineering. After about 12 years there and seeing 11 iPhones release.
You don't count calendars, you count iPhone release. Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, funny, real quick sidebar. Funny story. When I started at Apple, or when I received an offer, I had an offer from BlackBerry. You guys remember? You're old enough.
I remember.
Yeah.
And an offer from Apple, and everyone was like, "It's a no-brainer." Like BlackBerry.
BlackBerry, yeah.
2007, they were top,
Yeah.
right? And Apple had just come out with this device that couldn't copy paste and didn't have a keyboard. Why would any professional want to use a device with no keyboard? Like that it's hard to imagine that was the case back then. But yeah, so was it Apple, left after 12 years of seeing Innovator's Dilemma set in and just kind of...
Wait, that was kind of a cliffhanger there, because you had the BlackBerry choice, you had the Apple choice, right?
We know what he did, Brian. It
We know
wasn't
how it ended,
cliffhanger.
but
He
yeah.
just told us.
But what was like? No, I'm the risk taker.
Yeah.
I'm going this
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the revisionist history or looking back is, yeah, maybe it was me kind of preempting the venture pathway. I had done an internship at Google the year prior, and I had fallen in love with Silicon Valley and the spirit and everything, why, people come here. And that was, I think, weighed heavily. Apple seemed like a good company. I saw the potential for products at Apple to be great. But it was more like Silicon Valley drew me.
Yeah.
Versus Waterloo, where I had gone to school and BlackBerry was in Canada.
In Waterloo.
Okay, so you came from
That's the
Canada.
headquarters.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm an immigrant. I've been here 17 years. Yeah, and had a startup as well after Apple. I went to a very early stage startup, scaled, early exited, and a lot of things along the way, which I'm sure we'll talk about, made me realize that there's some exciting things about venture and startups, but there's some things that I wanted to impact.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be around founders as well.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that energy and that pathway, because it seems like both of you have that journey that kind of naturally evolved, but yet there's this attraction. And so what is it about the startup ecosystem that you both fell in love with that pulled you along, and what is it about it now that you really, really love? And the reason why I ask this, I always ask this question because if there's one common denominator, I think, in this ecosystem, is that people love the energy of Silicon Valley. You fall in love with it.
Unique.
You can almost get addicted to it. So what was the pull for you, Preetha? You went from corporate, you had an amazing journey, you went corporate, VC, startup. What was the pull for you?
Towards a startup from academics. It's actually, academics is all about innovation, okay? But not everybody leaves their dean role in a fabulous university to come and slum it, as it were, in Silicon Valley. For me, it was all about impact. When you're teaching a class of 100, 150, 100 students over and over again, there is impact, and I love that. But what if you could have an impact beyond the classroom? And in my particular case, we were developing this platform that connected global learners with each other so that someone somewhere needs help, someone else can raise their hand and help them. So to me, it was, can I go beyond the 100? Can I go to thousands? Can I go to millions? And then how do you do it? So at that point, I had to ask myself, how would I do such a thing, such a bold, hairy, audacious kind of goal?
Yeah. And what was that initial identification within the market that you or within your teaching, right? That you said this doesn't apply to just 100 people in the classroom. This is a global issue. Like, was there a moment where you said, I'm going to pursue this?
So I had started the startup. I was thinking about it, and I was driving my kids to school, and my son had his chemistry test, and I have a PhD from Yale in chemistry. So I said, let me explain this to you. It's something about osmosis. And he turns around and he says, Mom, don't bother. I'll just talk to my friend and he'll explain it better.
Ouch. Kids have a way of cutting through. Yeah,
and
cut your soul.
But that was important, because then I thought, people would rather hear explanations from someone, a peer. And that got me started. And I thought, if that were the case, why can't we build something that would connect people, young people that are studying, students, with one another, rather than with a teacher or a professor. So it's a long story, but it was deeply. I was compelled to do things like give up my job at Emory so I could pursue this, and I did. So,
but this makes sense. I mean, I don't know what year it was, but social engagement at the time, I would assume, is like, wait a minute, this is where the value is, because when it comes to real relationships, and this is what obviously makes you cool, Preetha, is you value human relations. And you saw the value in peer-to-peer like mentorship.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
It was just peer-to-peer learning. We called it social learning. I don't know if you've had that. I'm sure all of you who've studied, we've all studied in classrooms, and we go outside and then we say, hey, buddy, can you just explain this to me? And they do it for you in 2 minutes, while I, as a professor, would have to just bring out a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, I don't know. But I'll tell you what actually made it work and why there were 65 million. It was the human connection.
Yeah.
When someone is in trouble, it's the middle of the night, they have a test the next day, and they raise their hands like, I need help. They're asking for help. How do they find help? I mean, around this academic question, but it was the human connection. And I got to tell you, it was such an outpouring of people coming in and saying, we want to help. And we've had weddings come out of this.
Oh, nice.
You've had what? I didn't hear you.
Weddings.
Oh, weddings.
Yeah.
Intentionally so. Yes. We had good, deep relationships come out of this, which was unexpected.
But I got to ask a question here. I'm sorry, but
yes.
I'm still not sure what the thing was. Did we get that description?
Well, let me back you up, Brian.
I feel like you guys know something
Brian,
that the audience don't know.
So peer-to-peer, Brian. Here, let me explain.
I know what peer-to-peer is.
Peer-to-peer tutoring platform.
What the professor said, Brian.
Accessible 24/7.
No, let the peers explain it. This is
Especially
why
the night before the exam.
But
apparently.
you're saying that I could wake up at 3 a.m. and access this resource.
And you know why?
So
Remember the 26 countries?
Yeah.
There's always someone awake somewhere, and it's like, you say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Well, it's study time somewhere.
Got it. So it was a live person on the other side, or multiple live people on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So it was the impact, to answer your question. Long answer. Sorry, Simon.
No, it's and I'm sure that led into also venture, because venture is a way to scale impact and
absolutely, it's very important.
Engage with a lot more founders and each of them can scale, right? Help each of them to scale.
Yeah.
I think this is what's important. And again, my original question came in the form of, where does this passion come from? Founders, investors, whoever's in the ecosystem shares the passion. I really believe that they do. If you don't, then I think this may not be a fit for you. But this value of engagement, whether you're a professor standing in front of the class and you're engaging with your audience, this is important, because in order to communicate messaging, you need to have engagement. But really, when it becomes a deeper value, you now see this as a global thing. It's the answer to why you're here.
It is.
It's really why we're here is to engage, connect, develop relationships. Yeah, build community, exactly. And the pathway to getting there may be different, and we'll dive into that a little bit deeper.
I just love what you said, Brian. That is precisely it.
I can't repeat what I just said. It just kind of came from somewhere. But
you don't have to repeat it. It's all recorded, so we can
I love it.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't listening, so I couldn't repeat it either.
My buddy. All right.
Would you guys think that the best VCs in Silicon Valley are community and network builders?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a
of
pretty
course.
essential
Yeah.
part of.
We hear that over and over and
Yeah.
over again in here.
And that actually leads to better performance.
Absolutely. A very good friend, my partner now at Pier Ventures, Sean, said to me, VC, it's a relationship game.
100%.
And early in the game, I couldn't see that happening.
Yeah.
But now we have, if you don't have a good relationship with our companies, our potential companies, our friendly
Co-investors,
VCs that
right.
are going to be co-investors, our LPs,
LPs.
where would we be? And like any relationship, it can be transactional. Thank you, Sean. It can be transactional. It comes from giving,
Right, 100%.
not just taking.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Simon, you and I will have to have a drink after this.
For sure.
Yeah. So Simon, same question. There's this passion in the ecosystem. What drew you into this? And you went from, a great job to becoming essentially a builder and builder with others.
Right.
What was the pull for you?
Yeah, I started working with founders initially as an angel and just saw the unashamed workaholicness of them, and just like the passion that exists here in Silicon Valley around essentially your work being your hobby. I think most people that excel in this region just own that, right? They own that their work is their hobby and they pour all of their energy into it. That was transformative for me. And yes, in big tech, working at a corporation, it's not really always the case. So getting into startups and then finally starting Omni Ventures with Sabrina, my co-GP a few years ago, where we really just wanted to, we found a niche in the market that was a gap in venture, and we started building community around it, actually doing angel investments, SPVs, and founders supported us just as much as, if not more, than we could support them with our small angel checks. And that was transformative because we've been through a lot of good, bad, and ugly in Silicon Valley personally.
So you essentially started, you got your feet wet through angel investing. And then from there you said, I can do more with a fund, and then built that fund, and now you're on 1.5.
Yeah. We did like a track record fund of 15 individual deals and then started a blind pool fund. So this is our first blind pool fund.
Okay.
We've done 8 investments out of it. And we invest in, I didn't mention earlier, but we were very niche. We invest in manufacturing tech. So software, automation, robotics for, transforming the industry that has kind of been left behind. There's
Very
been
cool.
digital transformations in business services, in IT, in commerce, in finance, right? All of those have their tech variant.
Yeah.
E-commerce, fintech, et cetera. But manufacturing and industrials has not yet been digitally transformed. So that's what we're investing in.
So something I have to ask of both of you, and I've noticed this to be very interesting. For the most part, you're kind of like founders. You've got to raise your fund, and
Absolutely.
that is a specific strategy in itself. But another strategy that often young or new VCs don't realize is also now their deal flow strategy. What has become your deal flow strategy in terms of finding those companies that may be fundable and pop up on your radar? Please, I'll start with you.
Sure. In Silicon Valley, deal flow is seldom the problem. We have relationships, we have networks, we have friend VCs that want to syndicate with us, and as I know, I talked about the relationship part. So I find it's not a problem, and then we also work with university ecosystems, incubators. I have a really good relationship with through my other roles with several university incubators. And then I also work with incubators and accelerators throughout the country, because there are good ideas outside Silicon Valley, folks. There's amazing companies everywhere. We've done about 15 investments, and they come from all over the country. But 3 or 4 of them, maybe 3, are in California, the West Coast, but the rest of them are all over the country. So, but one has to be strategic. So our strategy has been building these relationships, these pipelines, as it were, with trusted incubators, individuals, VCs, and folks like yourself. And for example, that wonderful event you had, Brian, next door, it was great. I met so many people, really top-notch entrepreneurs that came to your event. So being a part of such ecosystems is very, very critical.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's back to, again, just being relationship-minded and, being a connector. So I love that. And you're right. And I think, Simon, you would agree, there's no shortage of flow, but the purity of the flow will then kind of be dictated by your strategy. And I love the fact that you're tapping into all these different ecosystems and you're able to kind of get a global flow of early stage companies. So same question, Simon. It's what has been your particular strategy for purifying your deal flow? Because again, if you just say you're a VC, startups are going to come from every direction. But how have you approached your deal flow strategy?
Yeah, it's a great question, and something actually I talk about a lot in the book that I just released, because I am a firm believer that not only is there a lot of deal flow right now in Silicon Valley, there's a lot of VCs, right? And the more money there is, the more confused founders are about who to talk to and who to get to lead, and then VCs also become undifferentiated, which is what we've noticed. So what we've done is essentially just niche to a very specific field and built a strong brand and community around it, exemplified by 30,000 followers on LinkedIn now. And yeah, it's been a long game building through podcasts and panel discussions, et cetera. But building a strong brand around a particular category in the market. For us, it's manufacturing tech, and having come, like Preetha, also coming from a particular background in industry is important. Our founder archetype is probably a little bit different, and also helps with the fact that we are quite present on LinkedIn. Our ideal founder actually comes from industry, not from academia. Manufacturing, industrials, it's not something actually that you learn well in school, unfortunately, for better or worse, and maybe a topic for another podcast.
Well, I love this topic about founder fit, by the way. So
absolutely.
Please dive into it.
I want to talk.
Yeah.
So we specifically look for founders that have been in industry, have been boots on the ground in factories or manufacturing facilities, and have a commercialization mindset. We feel that's really important, especially in today's age. So yeah, we're investing in robotics, automation, AI around that space. And the typical founder is, let's say, a manufacturing engineer leaving his day job at Apple, Meta, Google, Tesla, who's been doing that for 10 years and is solving kind of the biggest pain point of their career, using robotics, automation, and AI. And they know about us because we're the only manufacturing tech VC.
I love it.
I'm so glad I know him now, so I know where to send those companies.
There you go. Yeah, and most importantly, we write first checks. So we actually cannot get deal flow from other VCs.
Yeah.
We're high conviction, right? 800K first checks into pre-seed rounds.
But that's tough. And Preetha,
I want to talk about the founder fit because we're in a completely different domain here. So we are, we do health. We do health pretty broadly. I call it the 3Ds. We do digital, devices, as well as drugs. And we do them, well, it's opportunistically. We happen to have more devices and perhaps digital than drugs, but we'll fix that. We look for founders. We're usually seldom the first check in, so that's where we differ. And we look for founders from all walks of life. But what we do look for, particularly in health, as you can imagine, and I'm not talking about therapeutics, but in the other two areas, we look for a founder that has three things: there's clarity in their pitch, the ability to articulate that idea really well, and they have to do it concisely. That's my big thing. I think it's very important that you're able to do that clearly and concisely. And then, particularly in health, you have to show the commerce, the business model, the go-to-market strategy. I mean,
That's the third C, the commerce.
that is the third C, the commerce. Because in health,
Super important.
it's you could get lost in the I'm going to save all these lives, which is great. It's super important. But for you to survive as a company and go to the next check, and we can only do the early checks, you have to be raising some more. All the 3 C's have to come together. So we're selling the first check-in, and we probably won't be the last check-in unless it's an exceptional company. So I think what a lot of founders don't realize is what you said, Simon, which is there's different kinds of VCs. And before you go waste anyone's time pitching, you should find out, are they a manufacturing VC or are they a health VC? I don't do a tech anymore, and so on and so forth. So I think my lesson 1 to whenever I meet is like, do the research, find out who they're investing in, talk to their companies.
So founder fit is what we're focusing on, but what you're saying to the founder.
Yeah, I'm saying to the founders.
You're saying to the founder, have these qualities, which is the 3 C's, be able to communicate commerce and what was it?
Concise, clarity,
concise,
and
yeah.
commerce.
Yeah.
I like the commercialization one. We also look for that.
But more importantly, a part of the founder fit is how well they know you.
Absolutely.
The investor fit.
Investor fit. Okay, well, I think we should call it the investor fit. Because
But I think what that says, Preetha, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you are relationship oriented, when you know the market well, when you can engage well, build the right team, when you're really people centric, you have that empathy and you look to make accurate connections where it matters, where it makes the biggest impact. And so if I'm having a conversation with you and I know it matters to you, we can focus on that rather than being this balloon in the wind and you're just kind of all over the place. And you don't want a VC, or it's not a VC, you don't want a founder that's a balloon in the wind.
No.
Or think
do
that,
we, Simon?
Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, every founder thinks they have a good idea, but what makes it a venture is there a problem to be solved?
And is there money at the end of
Investor founder fit.
Investor founder.
Well,
you just blew my mind.
It's just thesis fit, right?
Yeah.
Like it's incredible how many times I'm at events and founders walk up and they just start pitching.
Yeah.
Feature. Yeah.
No, not even like value first. That's like one big problem. But then more importantly, like find out if we even invest in that space, maybe.
Perfect. Exactly. Would like to underscore that, both of us.
Yeah. Very, very true. Yeah. Oh, let that sink in. Okay, so Brian, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about boards.
I just want to take a moment. I'm going to plug Simon's book for a
we're
second.
going to plug it when we come back. That's what I was going to say.
Well, sorry. Too late. I'm already here.
Yeah.
Unlocking Alpha, the rise of niche VC.
Yeah.
Right? So Simon is kind of the expert in this idea that founder fit, funder fit, right? Ask that question, like, who am I talking to? Do they invest in my idea or my whatever area of idea?
And we're going to open that up when we get back. We'll talk a little bit about unlocking alpha. Is that how you say it?
And purifying your deal flow. I really like that. Purify. How do you purify your deal flow?
Yeah.
How do you purify?
I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where this comes from.
You're just naturally a genius with words.
Thank you, Preetha. You heard it here first. All right, let's go to break. Let's end it right there, Brian.
All right, hang on. Yeah, we're going to hold on.
We'll be right back.
Exactly.
All right. Welcome back to the second part of the show. Brian, were you going to say something?
Was I going to say something?
Yeah,
no.
do you want to reemphasize?
I'm going to plug Simon's book here on YouTube. It's called Unblocking. Unlocking Alpha, the Rise of Niche VC.
Yeah.
Right? So if you guys need to see it, you go to YouTube and you can see it there.
Yeah. And if you follow me on LinkedIn and reach out, I may decide to share a copy with you.
Ooh. Wow, another value add from Silicon Valley Impact today, huh?
Ooh. And they love it.
Just for, you also need to subscribe to the podcast, actually, just if you do those two things.
Simon's always giving. That's why I love this guy. All right. We're back for the second half of our hour. We're diving in with coffee talk. with
Ooh.
Preetha and Simon.
We'll talk about my dog, my daughter.
No.
You know, no big whoop.
I've got a question for Simon. I've got to ask him. Firstly, it's a compliment, Simon. I really loved what you said about building a brand and how you're going about doing it. So double click on that for me.
Yeah.
Why did you think it was important? Like, what have you gained? What's the ROI on that?
Yeah. So we talked about earlier, like trust building, relationship building, which implies trust building, and like what is more important than brand in trust, like to accelerate trust building. Yes, dinners and like normal time scaling of relationships.
I think he said no to my drink.
Is
No, I didn't hear that at
no,
all.
Okay,
let's do it. Let's have a drink. That's the way to do it. But to accelerate trust building, community, network, brand. Yeah. So actually, in the book we talk about niche venture capital and kind of the rise and fall of it. How I argue that originally venture capital was niche by definition in the 70s and 80s, and it kind of went through this ballooning and commoditization, and now there's so much mega funds and so many generalist VCs that you like the only way now to differentiate it is by niching, or maybe not the only way, but the best way. And it's basically comes down to three things. One is mastery in a particular area. The second is focus on that area and on your investment strategy. And third is network, which is kind of a bit of a catch-all for community, brand, and relationships.
Totally agree.
I love that. I really do.
MFN, baby. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize the acronym until later.
Yeah, NFM.
Mastery Focus Network.
Mastery Focus
Network. Yeah. That's
I thought you said niche fund manager.
mastery. That's the mastery part. Right?
Niche is a function of those three things. Yeah.
Got it.
And therefore
actually,
also,
how do you define a niche? What is niche and what is generalist?
Yeah.
Like, okay, how big
So-
is a niche? Like,
so
are
I-
we a niche because we only do health?
So in the book, I
That's a
actually
good question. Can we hear the answer to that from you, Simon? Do you mind?
Sure, of course. So it's actually more than a specialization. So I try to redefine niche not to be equal to specialization.
So you would say we were a specialized fund because we do health, but it's
Yes, you're a specialized fund, but you may not be niche because there are giant funds
that
potentially. And are they still niche? Are they still generating alpha? Arguably not.
And when you say
So-
alpha, wait,
Well, where did that come from? I mean,
Yeah, so we actually looked at like 1,000 funds over the last 30 years. Many have failed, and we looked at ones that have outperformed, and the vast majority have followed this formula of either staying focused on their mastery, staying focused on their investment strategy, and or having a very strong network and community that they've built.
Did that answer your
And
question?
and those typically outperform. Yeah.
I love.
Shall I just
Okay, so wait. Let me kind of because I want to. I
Yeah,
think
please.
I'm in the same space with you. So
Yeah.
what kind of had you pull back is I thought was really cool that there's a difference between
specialized?
specialized mastery,
Niche.
Correct.
right, and niche,
Yeah.
right. You
Correct.
can specialize, but
Which is equivalent to the mastery.
yeah, and I think this flushing out what this really means for our audience is important because you don't want, as investors, you don't want people just coming up to you and pitching, right? You want them to be targeted. You want them to be specific. You want them to have clarity and being able to articulate what they're doing and trying to achieve moving forward. And so what we're chewing on right here is what is that golden thread that gets right to the heart of what you're creating and defining that mastery, specialized, and niche.
Mastery, focus, and network.
Yeah, and so finding that word power is going to move you forward. It's going to have you influential in terms of building trust. So I just wanted.
Actually, for assuming that the majority of your audience are mostly entrepreneurs rather than other VCs, but I don't know. But I
I like
think
to think of them as
I
world
would
leaders.
probably agree
World
with that
leaders.
as well.
Yeah.
But I suspect for the entrepreneurs in the audience, the take-home lesson is either a specialized or a niche is knowing the area of the specialization or the niche is super important. But that doesn't mean they're not going to pitch generalized VCs either. They're probably
Correct.
going to, but you have to know that that the VCs are investing in the area of your company.
But I even think.
But wait.
Okay.
But if
You're on
you
the
were a
phone.
niche, then as you say so, well, you also offer these added advantages.
Correct. Exactly. So from the founder perspective, the GP or the VC has a mastery in that particular area. He can bring expertise like I'm sure you do. He can advise. He has network and connections that can provide an unfair advantage, either with other investors or more importantly with industry for go-to-market.
Absolutely.
And given the focus, they are more likely to have a little bit more of your time because you're directly in thesis, and focus also implies that they're not a massive generalist fund. And I have a chapter that talks about like how to. You said earlier how to stay within your niche. Every area, every sector it can only absorb so much venture capital, right? And that's actually a interesting topic. Like if you
another topic.
if you try to pump too much capital into a particular sector, you're not going to return well.
I like that. I think, something that I tell entrepreneurs, and you touched on that, is I think every VC that they pitch to will tell them, oh, we have a support ecosystem. And of course, we have connections. We have this network that we'll pick up the phone. I think it's absolutely critical when you're decide on the VC. If you're in a happy situation where you have multiple VCs that are putting money into or want to put money into, you should absolutely pick up the phone and talk to their portfolio companies and ask them this question.
How much time is the GP?
What specifically did they do?
Sure.
Who specifically did they introduce you to? They don't need names, but this person introduced me to the CEO of XYZ, or the chief procurement officer of this great big pharma, so that I could then have $1 million contract with them. I think that's compelling. I think I would encourage everybody to ask the question, because that would speak to your thesis as well as to ours, because that's what we do. But everybody says that. But I think it's up to you to validate that.
So I want to talk a little bit about the book, but for both of you, let's go to a broader question, because what our audience, if majority of them are founders listening to this type of insight, because they'll see the promo, they'll see you two sitting here, and they're going to want this insight from your perspective and respective of your industry. What is a fundable company from your perspective? We've already talked about founder fit. We've unpacked that. So if you go to the second and third thing, what else are you looking for?
I want to answer Preetha's question.
Okay.
I think that's good.
There it is, Brian. Somebody did it actually.
That moment I was looking for.
Yeah, you've been coaching people for all this time. Good job,
So
Simon. We
let the
appreciate
gentleman
that.
speak, guys.
The thread that Preetha's pulling on, super valid. It's like, what are the VCs actually doing to help you besides throwing money at you, which is becoming commoditized, right? And this is kind of part of the surge in pre-seed VCs and specialized VCs, which I talk about, is like, how are they going to move the needle? How are they going to help you move ahead? Would love to hear some examples. We just took 4 portfolio companies to Taiwan, met with Foxconn and 3 other massive companies, like potential customers, flew founders there, and engaged in business development conversations even prior to revenue, like understanding the customer and all of this. I think every VC should figure out what is their value add, what is the area that they are going to support. Otherwise, they don't have an edge, right?
Yeah.
And why would the best founder go to them versus the generic next?
Well,
I think founders should challenge them. I mean, it's your life. I mean, it's your success story and your journey, And so you're absolutely within your rights to ask the hard question, like we're sort of throwing out.
I completely agree, and I like to say, and I think it's the responsibility of the VC to put it out there a little bit more, because I think both of you correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to be challenged with that from their LPs, because if the LP doesn't see the VC as having unique positioning through community, through communication, through network, whatever it may be, investor fit, whatever it may be, they're not going to get.
They don't see the alpha.
They don't see the alpha.
Right? Most LPs invest to get alpha, to get outside. Not all.
Yeah.
And I talk about this, like the mega fund LPs are not investing for alpha, but.
So the same thing that they're sharing with their LPs to get the fund should also be the same thing they're openly educating their founders on, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that communication is happening to elevate the VC. And I think that's what you two are doing uniquely, is you're sitting in the podcast chairs of Silicon Valley Impact, but you're putting yourself out there to educate the market on how this game is played. And I don't think a large percentage of VCs are doing that at this point.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But I would ask. I've been on the other side of the table, and so I get it. So we haven't flown anyone to Taiwan really yet, but we have made introductions which have, as I said, of a large pharma, which have resulted in $1 million contracts to take this company from where they were to their next round, which was an oversubscribed round. And we literally pick up the phone any time of day and we are there. So I think these are anecdotal, so they're not quantifiable, but that's a start. My point is I would like to empower all the founders in the audience to ask the question, nicely, of course, because it's all about relationship building. But I think it's a valid question, and it's a valid follow-up to any conversation. And I don't know about your industry, but it has been difficult to raise money in health right now. It's been difficult for first time, for the first checks, for the second, for the follow-on. So even though it's difficult, I think they should be careful where they take their money from. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, there's money, there's smart money, and there's money you wish you hadn't taken. So you don't want them to be in that last bucket.
Not all money is good money.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Simon?
You must be in a good spot if you're saying there's so much money floating around for what you're doing, probably, which sounds awesome.
I think that there are a lot of generalist AI VCs that might have been crypto VCs before or XYZ VCs before that. And
he said the A word.
I know.
Yeah.
We almost went the entire show without saying that.
We could have managed.
So like, if you go to an event in San Francisco and you meet 60 AI, X Meta founder, GP, VCs, whatever, and they just say they're investing in seed stage AI companies. Are you going to remember? Are you going to know which one to work with? Are you going to know as a peer VC which one to call up to, syndicate the round with, et cetera?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
What made you write the book?
Can I add a why?
Yeah. Why'd you write the book?
It's been very hard to build this firm. Incredibly hard. Yeah. So I had no idea how hard it would be. I think it's harder than being a founder because you have no product to pitch except yourself. And factually, 2003, when we started, was the worst year in history to raise a venture capital fund. 2024 was slightly better than zero, the worst. And I was tired of meeting generalist AI VCs that I didn't know, how to collaborate with them.
Yeah.
So a lot of tough learnings, a lot of, hard lessons around building brand and the importance of that. At the beginning, we didn't really realize how important it would be to like establish a strong.
But I think one of your superpowers, if we're going to talk about relationships, if we can bring it back to that, and it's often overlooked, is people who sit in these chairs and share their life stories. And I definitely want to get to that before we sign off today, how you all got here. But it was quickly revealed in how you opened that question up. Your ability to be vulnerable. Like you said, it's hard. We've had some incredibly smart, great people sit in these chairs. And one of the biggest common denominators in all of them is they had the capacity to be vulnerable. They put themselves out there. They told their story. They said what was hard. They said in a humble way what the keys to their success were. And I think that's a hidden formula for a lot of people who are building trust quickly and building community quickly, is they have the capacity to put themselves out there in what I like to call a messy, vulnerable way, but yet there's the other side of it that's very sharp and purposeful, And so I think that's a big part of it, and the fact that you share that, I think, is a superpower.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
And hopefully from that, it helps with deal flow and fundraising and all of the above. But certainly,
yeah,
I think being empathetic and giving first. And I think this book, everyone who's read it, it's top charts on.
Where can people
Amazon.
get a copy? Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. It's number one new release for venture capital for the past 2 weeks. All the GPs, emerging managers that read it say it's really helpful.
Yeah.
Talk about the hard lessons. Hopefully other people won't go through them as hard as we did. Hopefully it'll help build trust with the community, LPs, founders, peers.
Yeah. Let me turn the page for a second and come back to what I just mentioned a minute ago. Preetha, you said you had a unique journey. And I think a lot of times the best stories and the greatest people are immigrants into the U.S., into Silicon Valley. And you said you had kind of a unique journey. You've kind of touched all sectors of the professional area. That brings you a unique view. But what brought you into Silicon Valley? What was kind of your journey? Did you come from a family of entrepreneurs? Where did that bug originally come from?
Okay, I'm going to go like way back.
You can go back. When I was 3.
I was all set to be a chemist. I loved chemistry. And I know a lot of you guys probably are rolling their eyes, but I just loved it. It had answers to questions that, for some reason, when I was a teenager, bothered me. Why is salt salty? Why does salt dissolve in water, but not camphor, or stuff like that? So I set out to be a chemist, and I was in India, and I was in IIT at that time, and
IIT,
the Indian Institute of Technology. I'm
going to be hosting IIT next year. Yeah,
in India, Brian.
It's actually going to be in Long Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, little plug for IIT.
Yeah, and as it is in India, I was at that age when my mother said to me, "We're going to start looking for an arranged marriage for you." And I said, "Okay, I want to go abroad and do my PhD, but I'll negotiate this with you. If you find a reasonable boy before I get my first admission, and a good admission, then I'll marry the boy and stay back and do whatever. But if I get an admission," so it was very, very, very forward thinking of her to say, "Okay, that's fine, that's a deal." We saw a few boys, and I sent out my applications, and I got my admission into Yale.
Yes.
And I said, "Can't do better than that, can we?" Mm-hmm. So that started my journey here, and she let me go, so it was cool.
Hence Forever Blue. That you were saying
true,
blue earlier.
That's true.
Yeah.
Blue.
No.
Yeah. And then I was at Emory, and my second very personal story is like, how did I do the startup? So I'm teaching Gen Chem, and there's 100 kids in class. I love teaching, and we have a test coming up, and I'm sitting at 12 o'clock and answering everybody's, you know how emails come saying, Dr. Ram, how do we do this? This stoichiometry problem, whatever. And my husband says, it's 12 o'clock. Like, what are you doing at the computer? And I said, I've just got to answer these questions. He says, like, if there's a problem, there has to be a technology to solve it. So I said, well, create the technology then. And we worked together and we created a technology. And then I told you about my insight. My son said it's better to learn amongst peers. And that's how my entrepreneurial journey came. Very personal.
That's a pretty profound statement. If there's a problem, there's got to be a technology for it.
Well, he's a technologist. You know, it's like if you're a hammer, then everything looks like a nail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you've said that over the air, and everyone listening now who's got AI insight is going to solve every problem.
Every problem,
Yeah.
yeah. But, you know, problems for entrepreneurs come out of their own, quite often, their own personal perspectives. And to me, I wanted to solve it. No, not because it was 12 o'clock at night, but because I believed in the power of social learning and peer learning.
And so, real quick, I mean, I know we're kind of coming down to the top of the hour.
We need to hear his story.
Yeah, and we're going to hear Simon's story. But you built the company.
And
then had an exit. Real quick, tell us how that journey kind of evolved.
Built the company. I was at Emory. And then we decided that Atlanta, you know, was not the best place for a DTC company in those days. And in order to make the company grow, we both decided to come to the Valley, which I did. We raised a round. We then grew the company. And at some point, we were able to exit it. And then I thought, I can't go back to academics. I mean, you know, it's building, creating, and leading a company kind of changes you forever.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'm here in this wonderful ecosystem. What can I do to give back? Which is a very Silicon Valley ethos. And I'm really proud to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So that's my 3 tequila story. Which is I met this wonderful gentleman at a conference and we got to talking. It was about AI and education, and that's the A word again. And then basically he asked me to be a part of his VC journey, and I joined, and then I became a partner, and it was Pier 70 Ventures, and with the goal of investing and being a good VC to diverse groups, women, people from everywhere, immigrants, everything.
I love it.
So, yeah.
I love it. Great story.
Impact.
Yeah. And making an impact. I love it. And I think that's really the best part of what's going on in Silicon Valley are those different stories. Like you could come from a moment's, I mean, about to be arranged marriage, right, to now VC in Silicon Valley. And you hear these diverse stories, and I think they're extremely fascinating. But Simon, you have your own story. Did you grow up in Waterloo? Is that where you?
Portugal.
Portugal. Okay, let's go back.
Where?
Yeah.
When I was 3. Okay.
Where
I was
in Portugal?
born and raised in Portugal. Algarve.
Lovely.
Now everyone knows where Portugal is.
And
before
Algarve.
COVID, people thought it was in South America. But it's been a journey. Entrepreneurial parents, got inspired pretty young to work hard and made my way to Waterloo. And through a journey of internships and work at BlackBerry and Google, landed here. Spent the bulk of my career at Apple. It was very transformative, working with Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive in particular for many years. Boots on the ground around the world in Asia. I was like the guy that my boss or I was the guy that they would call if we needed to learn something really quickly and we didn't have an in-house PhD. I was like the generalist. They would fly me business class everywhere. Have over 50 patents from those days, which is kind of cool. In high school, I wanted to be an inventor and was disappointed when I realized there was no profession that you could study in school to be an inventor. But engineering was my way. After doing R&D, I went into more like open innovation, corp dev. Started working with additive manufacturing startups. Eventually left to join one called Aris Composites. I was their first kind of logo on their Series A deck, first non-founder executive hire. And I got into business development. I really loved this combination of like engineering, technical understanding, the deep domain expertise with the commercialization mindset. And I think that's taken us to where we are now as well, and being very commercialization focused at Omni Ventures. Then I was there for about a year and a half. Then public knowledge, I got sued by Apple, which won't get into the details now, but yeah, big cliffhanger. That was kind of the, early I said, I've been through a lot in Silicon Valley. I've seen all aspects of intellectual property, designing, engineering, negotiating strategic deals in corp dev, and then lawsuits. And that was a pretty interesting time in my life. But I had started angel investing, and kind of like what I realized is that founders were not just willing to work with me and accept me as an angel, but were the energy that lifted me and kept me going. My family and like my extended family through the founders, and that was inspiring. We got really busy, started an incubator essentially, and then that evolved into starting a fund. Eventually, moved on from the lawsuit after it got dismissed, but it's been, I was like 21, so it's been a fun time.
Yeah,
building not from zero, from -1. We started
5 years for you.
This one from -1.
Yeah. Well, Brian, we're winding down to the top of the hour here, but I definitely want our audience to have the capacity to connect with you in whatever way you feel would be appropriate to purify that deal flow, right? LinkedIn, y'all. All right. Oh, wow. Look for Simon's up down. Simon's got the coolest picture. If you haven't looked it up yet, Brian, his picture's upside down. I think I want to do something like that with my own.
I thought you were going to say the one on his business card here, which, by the way, I got to give you credit. That's also a great photo.
Is it upside down?
Same one.
It is now.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter on the business card, but
I love it. Okay, so the best way to connect with both of you is through LinkedIn. Those connections will be in the show notes, but I want to thank you both for being here today. I've had so much fun listening to both of you just kind of open up with strategy and insights, your path. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Great questions.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I want to thank everybody else for joining us today. And if you want to see the show, go to YouTube, Silicon Valley Impact.
Yeah.
And you can check out the show.
Yeah. Great.
Let it rip, Brian. Let's go. We'll see you all next week. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.